Great. And I noticed that Kathleen has a question, if she would like to ask hers.
Yes. What I'm curious about is you're talking about the perspective that we are focused on certain part of our life or this particular aspect of our life. And one thing that I'm wondering is if um, we maybe subconsciously or uh, possibly even consciously alter memories that we have from our past, say, as in childhood. One thing I noticed in my own life is that my younger sister, when we discuss the time when we were growing up, she has completely different memories of things that happened than I do. So, is it just from the way each of us was looking at what was happening at that time, or have things changed in our perspective as we've gotten older?
So, what you have done is you've given yourself the opportunity to have in your association with your sister a phenomenon that actually is the way that your reality functions all the time. And you see this in the difference between what your memories of your past is and what the memories of your sister's past are. So, your experience to you feels like a flow of unbroken moments. And you look back and you see the history of what it is that led to this particular experience that you're having in this moment. Due to the nature of consciousness and the rapidity at which consciousness expresses itself, what you're actually doing is as you are having your current experience, you are creating the memories and any of the rest of the props that you need to reinforce the experience that you're having now. And so your experience of your past is a reflection of the you that you are now. Now, the interesting thing is that, and again, we need to talk in these terms because they make sense to you. But 3 hours ago, if you were to speak with somebody about your sister, the potential is there that the conversation that you would have had with that individual would have been that you and your sister have the same memories about your past. Again, you are very used to the idea of the linear flow of time within your experience of this particular reality. It's not actually the way that you do it. If you could think of yourself standing in, maybe we'll say, a round cupboard, and around you are these round shelves, and maybe those shelves go from, oh, maybe mid thigh up to, oh, maybe your ear level, and every 8 inches is a shelf. And if you can imagine yourself reaching and grabbing items from any place around you, from any of those shelves, and putting them in the basket that perhaps hangs from your waist or something like that, versus having just one shelf that's a straight shelf and you have to pull item after item after item off that shelf. It's actually the first one that you're doing all the time. But when you do, as you do that, is you utilize the ideas of the reality that you've chosen to participate within. And so what you do then is you utilize moments that to you, by and large, still fit the theme of the life that you believe that you're living, the time period that you believe that you're living within, the role that you've taken on in that time period, all of the things that are part and parcel of the experience, the physical experience that you're having in that moment. You will typically choose things that within the context of that idea, we'll say in this moment, make sense to you. We'll add something else. That's going to be very confusing. However, again, in terms of time, even 10 seconds ago, you may have been having a very different experience than you're having right now. You may have found yourself in another city, living a different type of a life than what's going on with you right now. Again, you experience your life as a flow of moments, as if they're linear and one follows the other in a cause and effect type of way. But that's not actually the way that your consciousness builds your experience. But none of that is really important right now, but only to know that, yes, indeed, what you believe is your past and what you believe will be your future is very much about who you are now, what you're doing now. That determines all of those things. In a sense, shall we say, from the way that's understandable, your past and your future flow from the choices you make now. And it's quite flexible, just like the choices that you are right now are very flexible. So hold on to that part of it. The rest is relatively unimportant right now. Hold on to that part of it. It's what goes on now that does change what seems to be your past and will open up what you consider to be your future.
Thank you very much. That did bring clarity to that.
You're welcome.
Anita, you can ask your question.
Thank you so much, Setu, for talking with us. I wanted to ask, at what age do we start creating our life?
You create your life before you enter into your life. Again,
Yes.
you because of the experience that you've had in your life, and because the ideas that you've been utilizing within the life, you believe that life begins in a particular way and starts in a particular way. As you sit here doing what you're doing right now, you will think in terms perhaps that maybe later on tonight, you'll go to sleep and you will find yourself in dream time. But dream time is occurring right now. You're having those experiences simultaneously with this. Part of your attention is here, part of your attention is there, and you will broaden your attention. Perhaps we'll say it this way, at that time, to allow yourself to encompass both of those at the same time to some degree. But you always create your reality. That's entirely what you're doing perpetually throughout existence is you're creating your reality. All the things, all the experiences that you're having, you're creating. You have some experiences where you, shall we say, sequester your awareness of yourself to a great enough degree that you can have the types of experiences that you're having here. In that, and utilizing the idea of a linear flow of time that you've utilized for, again, using those terms, a length of time within your physical dimension, this particular physical dimension, it seems like things happen in a particular way, that creation happens in a particular way. But again, that's not actually the way that it occurs. So you've always created your experience. You don't begin to create your experience someplace within the physical expression of yourself. You've always done that. You change your perspective, perhaps we will say. And so now it seems like you're this you when really you're always all of you, but you're having the experience as if we enjoy the term that Seth used to share with all of you, the focused personality. You're having it in a very focused way. Now that focus is changing. And so from that perspective, with the ideas and the belief systems that you use as part of this reality, then you have ways of approaching it, ideas of how things use, so you can explore those conceptions that you've come up with from that larger perspective of things, shall we say, about this particular dimension. So it's about your exploration, and it's a valid exploration, of course. All of them are a valid exploration. In fact, we would go as far to say as this expression of you is as valid an expression of you as any other expression of you any place within existence. It is no less valid. It is only expressing itself a little differently, which again, all other aspects of you are doing.
I understand the concept of us being able to create our reality, you know, what we experience before we are born. My question was relating to my grandchildren. I have from 1-year-old babies to, older. At what age, um, does a baby even create its reality around them? You
Indeed,
know,
it does.
okay.
It does.
I was wondering.
It's as probably all of you are aware, it has chosen the country that it will be born into. It has chosen the area of the country that it has been born into. It has chosen the family situation that it wants to be born into, because it knows that there are themes that will be most likely offered to it within those situations. So yes, even the youngest ones, they are creating their reality as they come into this world. In each moment, it is their creation. What you are experiencing in your reality is an interpretation of their process.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you describe the beauty that's found in a state of confusion? There seems to be a sort of freedom that rises when something can't fit into one's understanding, because the very concept of understanding suggests a limit or a boundary. And knowing and understanding are two very different states. So I was wondering if you could elaborate on the differences between them both.
Believe that you have opened the door to that on your own quite well. And that confusion, of course, is a transition. It's a movement from what you believe to be true into a broader understanding of things. And again, as all of you continue to explore who and what you are, you will find yourself less and less and less in that state, because you will cling less and less and less to how things should be, how things need to be, what is right for something to be. You will become more flexible. You will become more allowing. In that, you will have much less confusion as things that are uncommon, as things that are different, show up in your reality. You will embrace those, knowing through experience that through that particular movement, you will become more aware of some part of your reality.
I love that. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question?
So we would like to add a little something for all of you tonight. And is this: regardless of where you find yourself in your exploration, regardless of where you find yourself in your challenges. Believe us when we say you are doing quite well in your exploration. Quite well in your exploration. The challenges that you find yourself within in these time periods are unlike the challenges that you've ever found yourself in before, even though you may not think that they are large challenges. You are doing far more with your movement of who you are as a being than you actually understand yet. Now that, shall we say, more encompassing you does understand what's going on, knows where you're headed, knows how things are going to unfold, knows the role, perhaps we'll say, that you will play in all of that for yourself and for others as well. But you're doing quite well. So if you can, please attempt to be gentle with yourselves. Allow your process to be what it is. There is never a mistake in how your process unfolds for you. There's never a mistake. Many times there is a misinterpretation of how it is that you see something. So if you can be gentle with yourself, if you can allow yourself an understanding that there is more to understand about you and your existence in the midst of whatever your challenge is, those things will be able to show up for you a little bit easier. But even if you have a great deal of challenge in any particular moment, understand that you are still doing well. You are doing something that for many, 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 many hundreds of years, individuals never attempted to do. You are going through a transformation that in this particular dimension has never occurred before. It is quite sweeping in the changes that you will make for yourselves. So keep in mind, you are doing well. We will leave all of you